Hi, Nick Collier here, and this is my shop. Come join me. We'll have some fun. Well, here we are again. Good morning, Nick Collier. It's raining cats and dogs outside, which we're here in California, and we've been in a drought for a number of years, so we love that. And we're back to this project here, and we're making the slug for the shop press. Now, yesterday I cut this sleeve, and we're going to insert the sleeve into the slug. And but the thing is, it has about a 2/1000 press. So, and you know, that's a little iffy for me. I would love to have a 3 or maybe even a 4, because I want a really good tight press in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press this in the way it is. Usually I'll just heat this up and cool this down, and the thing will just slide right in. But I don't know how tight it's going to be, and I want it to be tight. So we're going to run this thing down cold and see how tight it is. And if it's tight enough, fine, we'll go with it. And if it's not, we may have to run a bead around the top outside edge there, just to make sure that it stays in place. So we're going to press this thing in and see how it goes. Okay, we're at the old Harbor Freight pump action 20-ton, which does just fine if you're willing to wear out your elbow pumping the son of a bitch. Oh yeah, it's going in nice and snug. There we go. We're in. Good and tight. So we'll, I don't know, maybe we'll just throw it on the bandsaw and cut it off. That might just work out just fine. Be back. Okay, let's come in and face this off, and then we're going to bore this to the right size and then thread it. Let's go in and bore that. We've got to change out our head. And what I'm seeing is that this boring head, this boring bar itself, is exactly square, which is not a good deal. So I'm going to come in and trim this back just a little bit, so that it's it has a bit of a back rake to it. Alright, let's get a Allen wrench. And we'll be back in a minute. Okay, so we've got our bit recut, and we're ready to go in and do some damage here. That looks pretty good. Okay, so we're at 325, 327, and we need to go to what? 345. 327 to 345 would be, less than 25, 23. We're going to take 20. $46. So I think I can live with the thousands, especially since it's a thread. Now let's figure out what the depth of our thread is, and we're going to set up for threading. Hey, Nick Collier here. I don't know, it just started snowing about 20 minutes ago, and everybody's scrambling to get their car up the top of the hill here out at the end of our driveway. And I just had to walk back from parking my car, it's 1/8 of a mile away, not that big a deal. But it's snowing, and here we are in the dry, warm, well, okay, not so warm barn, working on the projects. So, hey, stick with me. We're going to have a good time today. All right, well, I thought I'd give you a picture or a quick shot of what's going on outside. Winter wonderland happening. We get the delight of snow for an hour or two, and then it becomes the drudge of snow, which means shoveling and messing around with the white. But for right now, it's beautiful. Okay, so I believe we've got our threads all set up and ready to go. So all we need to do is travel in and start cutting threads. All right, we're getting there. So we've cut 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 thousandths. So that's 160, or no, 180. And what is our difference? We'll be back. Okay, so we've got ourselves some threads. I'm going to take one last spring cut here. I've taken about 3 or 4. This is 8620. It doesn't like going real slow and cutting with a high-speed bit, but that's pretty much what I got. So we cut. So we're going to go back to 0. That's going to give us the then we're going to find our number. I think we've got all of our measurements right. I think we've got everything that we need. But I'm not totally sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it up to number 1, number 2, number 1, and I'm going to take a machine or a mill bit, or not a lathe bit, and I'm going to come down the surface of this. You can kind of see where the scratch is already. I've already scratched it, and just scratch that so that I know I can come back to number 1 if I need to, and I can find my exact rotation so that this thing ends up being in the same place for 1, and then also ends up not being out in this way for another. So let's take it out and we'll give it a try. Keep your fingers crossed. All right, so we're looking at the threads. They look pretty good for 8620, which is pretty tough material. So let's give them a try. We'll bring it a little bit closer. There we go. Come on, baby. Okay, it took the first part of the thread, but of course it jammed up right away. So and I'm not sure it's going to go that we want to go bigger. I'm thinking, let's see, we're going to have to take it over some light. Continuing with the plug at the end of the hydraulic ram, where our threads are a little bit light, but I'm not sure how much because I can't really tighten up on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of flats in this just to get a good snug surface and to be able to get a wrench on it. So we're going to do that. Just going to be a fast deal. We're not going to be trying to be accurate or anything like that. And we're going to put this down here at the base of it where we have the extra strength. This goes down to about there. So that should work out pretty good. I think we're going to get a smaller bit though. Oh, wait a second. No, we can't get a smaller bit because we're going to use my little crescent wrench here, and that is just about the width of that bit. So we aren't going to use a smaller bit. All right, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna strike a line. All we're trying to do is get a level line going here so that when I rotate this, and it doesn't have to be super accurate, but I want it to be reasonably accurate. When I rotate it, I get a good horizontal surface. I can pretty much eyeball it into play. And I can see this side is higher than this side. So we bring it back and we rotate this just a smidge. And that's reasonable, maybe just a little bit more. That looks good. Okay. Crank on it. Done deal. Let's take it out and see what we got. Looks pretty good. All right, let's take it over to the press and see if we can get this thing to screw on. All right, so we're going to put our 1.5-inch wrench here and bottom it out on the press itself. Well, no, we're going to have to bottom it out on this side, aren't we? Let's see what we can do here. There we go. Now, get our crescent, slide that in place, and yeah, it looks like it's going to tighten up. No problem. I mean, it's going to be tight, but that's okay. We can take, as long as we can put it on and take it off. That's starting to get pretty tight now. All right, so I'll tell you what we'll do. Oh, I don't know. It's, the threads are conforming to each other. Because when I start to take it off, it comes off easy. Let's see what things look like. You know what? I think I'm going to pull the old Nick Collier method of putting valve grinding compound on the threads and just seating them in, because it's real close. See, I mean, geez, we got about three turns on that before it starts to bind up even a little bit. Let's do this. Let's spin this thing around there and put this wrench in right here. And I'm going to get a clamp. There we go. All right, that's going to hold it. You fucker. God damn it. Shit. Well, hell. I can't believe it. Literally, I stripped these threads out. These are some honking threads. So the thing just spins now, and there's not much I can do about it. But once I get the ram up and running, I can start putting some pressure on this, and I'm sure it'll loosen up fairly quickly, and then we're going to see what we got left. And hopefully it stripped out this rather than this, but who knows for sure. So, back to the drawing board. Or the other thing is it could sit there for the next 20 years and be in perfect shape. So we can go 6 different ways on this one. All right, well, the next step in this process is taking this motor and putting it up on top of there and figuring out how it's going to lay out and what it's going to look like. So why don't we do that? All right, first thing we're going to need to do is get the hoist in place. Yeah, it's that's not enough hook. Let's see what we can come up with here. There we go. That should do the trick. All right, let's reposition you. And we're going to get a run at that. Lights are a little blaring, I know. All right, as far as I can see, the motor looks pretty good in this position. I'd rather the electrical be at the back side, but I'm not seeing, well, notice that, wait a second. We could put the motor over here. Yeah, let's do that. Let's see. Let's yeah, that's not bad. And then the sump tank can go right up here. Something like that. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right, we're going to maneuver things around, figure out where our holes need to be cut, and then go from there. Okay, so what we're going to do is hand drill through this and the spacer and this bottom plate to get our location, and then we can take everything apart and figure out and make the holes bigger later. But for right now, let's just get started with this and see what we come up with. Oh yeah, it's going to drill pretty nice. So let me get a little bit of oil. Okay, Nick Collier here, and we've got all the holes drilled for the motor and the sump tank, and so, you know, the pilot holes. So now I want to take the motor off and drill the final holes so that we can tap them and put bolts in them. So basically we're going to lift this thing back up again. Slide it around. Well, actually, we oh, I know. Go this way with it. There we go. We've got our spacers and these little mini holes here. Now we're going to come in with the tap size as soon as we find 4 bolts that are going to fit this thing, and then bolt this thing down, and this part will be fini. Okay, Nick Collier here, and 2 or 3 weeks ago we literally had to put this project aside because 2 big projects walked in the front door, and one of them is not an emergency by any means, but there's a time schedule on it, and there's a lot of work that's going into it, and I'm getting paid. Yeah! So this is on hold for the moment, and we'll come back to this at some point, but for now, you're just going to have to, you know, understand that here we are. So Nick Collier here, check it out.